Hey everyone, and welcome. Today we're diving into capitalization. And I get it. You might be thinking, ugh, grammar rules, right? But stick with me because I promise you're about to see capitalization not as some boring chore, but as a seriously powerful tool for making your writing sharp, professional, and really stand out.
So let me ask you this. Does your writing actually look as professional as you are? It's a real question. Because in every email, every message, every report we send, our writing is our first impression. It signals that we care, that we're detail-oriented, and you'd be amazed at what a few little tweaks can do.
I mean, just look at this. The difference is night and day. On the left, you've got a message that just feels kind of rushed, maybe a little sloppy. But on the right, it's the exact same words, but suddenly it's clear, it's respectful, and it has authority. And the only thing that changed? Capital letters. Today, we're going to crack the code on how to make that happen every single time.
So let's start with the absolute bedrock. Think of these next two rules as the non-negotiables of writing. If you can nail these two, you're honestly already 90% of the way there. This is the foundation for everything else.
Okay, rule number one. This is the one we all learned back in school. Always, and I mean always, capitalize the first word of a sentence. That's it. It's the universal signal that a new thought is beginning. It's like flipping on the lights for your reader so they know where to look.
So, for example, she enjoys reading. That capital S just kicks the whole thing off. It tells us, hey, new idea starting right here. Super simple, but it is absolutely the most important rule of all. And our second golden rule is just as straightforward. Always capitalize the pronoun I. You know, when you're talking about yourself. Why? Well, it's about giving yourself the proper respect and importance in a sentence. You wouldn't introduce yourself quietly, right? So don't write about yourself that way either.
And check it out. It doesn't matter where I shows up. Beginning, middle, end of a sentence, it doesn't matter. It always stands tall. In a phrase like she and I, that I has to be capitalized. No exceptions.
All right, so with that foundation in place, we can move on to the really fun stuff, the specifics. This is all about what we call proper nouns. And the easiest way to think about this is to imagine you're controlling a spotlight. This is the key idea right here. Capital letters are basically spotlights. You wouldn't shine a spotlight on just any old president, but you would shine it on President Lincoln. You wouldn't highlight any company, but you absolutely would highlight Microsoft. It's all about pointing out what's specific and unique. And the good news is, all these specific things fall into a few neat categories. We're going to do a quick run-through of the big ones. People, places, dates, brands, you name it. When you think about them in these groups, it makes the rules so much easier to remember. First up, people and their titles. It's pretty obvious that specific names like John get capitalized, but here's the key. When a title is attached directly to a name, like President Lincoln or Dr. Smith, that title gets the spotlight too. It becomes part of their official specific name. The exact same logic applies to places. This is one you probably already do naturally. We capitalize specific cities like Paris, continents like Europe, and unique landmarks like the Nile River. It's what separates a river from the Nile River. And this carries right on over to time. We don't capitalize general words like day or month, but we definitely put the spotlight on the specific ones like Monday and April. And of course, special named holidays like Christmas always get that capital letter. And finally, this also goes for specific organizations and brands. Names like Nike and Microsoft are unique entities. Same for groups like NASA. They are all specific names, so they all get the spotlight treatment. All right, let's talk about the one rule that sometimes trips people up, how to capitalize the titles of things, like books, movies, or articles. But trust me, it's not as tricky as it seems. There's a simple 3-step code to crack it every time. Okay, here's the code. Step 1, you always capitalize the very first and the very last word, no matter what they are. Step 2, you capitalize all the major words in between. Those are the important ones, like nouns, verbs, and adjectives. And then step 3, you keep the minor words, the little connectors like a, and, the, or, lowercase. Let's use a classic example, The Great Gatsby. See how this works? The gets capitalized because it's the first word. Gatsby is capitalized because it's the last word. And great is a major word. It's an adjective, so it gets a capital too. See? Once you know the code, it's easy. We've built our foundation, and we've put the spotlight on the specifics. Now it's time for the finishing touches.
These are just a couple of quick rules for quotes and acronyms that will give your writing that final professional polish.
The rule for acronyms is awesome because it's so simple. Capitalize every single letter. That's it. An acronym is just a shortcut for a longer, specific name, so each letter is standing in for a word that would have been capitalized anyway.
And this works for everything from a big agency like NASA all the way down to a common phrase like ASAP. If it's an abbreviation made up of the first letters of words, every single one of those letters gets capitalized. Super easy to remember, right? And our last rule is for using quotes. Here's the only question you need to ask. Is the part inside the quotation marks a complete sentence all by itself? If the answer is yes, then you have to capitalize the first word of that quote. For example, he said, "Life is beautiful." The part we're quoting, "life is beautiful," that's a full sentence. It could stand on its own. Because of that, the L in life has to be capitalized. It's like you have a mini sentence tucked inside your main one.
So let's bring it all the way back to where we started. Look at our original message again. Now we know exactly why it looks so much better. Dear is capitalized because it's the start of a sentence. Mr. Jones is a specific person. Tuesday is a specific day. And of course, I is always capitalized. It's not magic, is it? It's just applying the code we just learned. And there you have it. From the 2 golden rules to the finishing touches, you now have the entire toolkit. So the real question isn't about the rules anymore. It's about you. Now that you know the code, how are you going to use it to make your own writing really shine?